Welcome to Pew Pew Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. The question I have is the FBI going after political opponents again for the Democratic Party? Not too long ago, I guess, the Federal Bureau of Investigations released a domestic terrorist reference guide, specifically talking about militia violent extremism. They have some key terms in this reference guide for people who might be extremists. And some of these are oddly political, or not political, but oddly one-sided when it comes to the extremism. Some of the terms they say are used by extremists are, first, the Second Amendment. So yeah, they're saying using part of the Constitution, part of the Bill of Rights is only used by extremists. I'm surprised I don't have the First Amendment here as well. The Second Amendment refers to the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. MVEs and others within the militia movement often reference and interpret the Second Amendment to justify private militia activities and their opposition to gun laws. That's right, extremists use the Second Amendment to support their own fucking rights. Agenda 21 is another one, a non-binding United Nations agreement that advocated for the intentional environmental responsibility. MVEs sometimes regard Agenda 21 as a globalist conspiracy to seize rural lands prior to the UN takeover and implementation of the New World Order. Here's a fun one. This was literally just a fucking meme a couple years ago. Boogaloo, a term some MVEs use to describe the notion of, and sometimes a desire for, a second American Civil War between citizens and the government. Big Igloo, Big Luau, Boog Boys, Booga Hajin, and other associated wordplay, in addition to imagery such as igloos, Hawaiian shirts, and leis, are used as coded references to a fucking meme, to a joke. But they say references to a larger Boogaloo phenomenon on and offline. I've literally never seen this offline. It's always been jokes on either fucking Discord, on Instagram, and YouTube videos. But whatever. Because some people use the term jokingly in RMVEs who advocate the superiority of the white. The fuck? Now they're bringing white supremacy into this shit. Sometimes use the term to refer to a race war. The context of the use of the term should be considered carefully. We waste money on this shit. Our taxes get wasted on this shit. Bug out. Because, preparedness, Boy Scout preparedness for emergencies is a bad thing now, according to the FBI. A phrase used by MVEs and non-extremist preppers to reference emergency contingency planning usually involve weapons, supplies, evacuation procedures, and rendezvous locations. False flag. Like literally a bunch of shit the FBI has done in America. Anyway, conspiracy theory alleging the government carries out plots, often violent actions like terrorist attacks or mass shootings, in order to manipulate the public through fear and placing blame for the violent action on an innocent third party. Hey, remember when the FBI literally was found causing the murder of Martin Luther King Jr.? Some MVEs believe the government uses such covert actions to promote its unconstitutional agenda, like subverting the First and Second Amendments. Oh wait, that's extremist talk. Damn. You can't hold the government responsible for their own fucking actions anymore, because you would be an extremist. Including, believe the government uses such covert actions to promote its unconstitutional agenda, including sweeping military and law enforcement action or encroachments on gun rights and other civil liberties. No shit. Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA camps. Some MVEs believe under the guise of humanitarian projects, FEMA intends to gather Americans in concentration camps in conjunction with the suspension of civil liberties and establishment of the New World Order. Hey, remember during 2020 when the left wanted to put the unvaccinated in camps? Remember when in 2020 Australia, who got rid of their guns, actually did that? Conspiracies. You're all extremists. Field training exercise, a term used to describe tactical training. MVEs often use the phrase to describe drills in which participants train with weapons and practice tactics. These often occur on private property or in government-owned parks and forests. Keyword terms continued. Of course, I will have this listed. I'll have a link to this down below to a PDF that you can actually look at. Killdozer, a meme. Look, they're going after memes again. Because the left can't meme. A meme used to reference a 4 June 2004 incident in which an individual, Marvin Heemeyer, extremist, used a bulldozer he armored to demolish multiple buildings in the town of Granby, Colorado, in response to his grievances with local government. To a bunch of assholes who fucking screwed him over. If you'd like, I'll put a link down below to the Lore Lodge. They do a very good video on this. Because a lot of what people have learned about this incident, the Killdozer incident, is a fucking lie. Told by, well, the local government, who, after his death, could not defend himself. So it's all a bunch of bullshit. The individual killed himself at the end of the rampage. Martial law exists when military authorities carry on government or exercise various degrees of control over the civilians or civilian authorities in domestic territory. MVEs have justified some violent plots amid threats based on the belief the implementation of martial law was imminent. Molen Labe. I heard that in a while either. An ancient expression translating roughly to come and take them, which some MVEs use to communicate their willingness to violently resist gun control. I think that should say willingness to defend their own fucking rights and their own constitution. Something the government has been shitting on. I'm going to get in trouble with this. New World Order. The only NWO I know is Hogan, Hall and Nash. But, go on. Term some MVEs and other conspiracy theorists use to describe a supposed international plot to suspend American citizens' civil liberties and institute a global socialist government. To suspend American civil liberties, like our Second Amendment, that we're extremists for calling out. Oathbreaker, a phrase some MVEs use to describe law enforcement and government officials whom they believe have violated their oaths to uphold the Constitution, often related to gun rights and civil liberties, like the First Amendment. Like what they're doing in England, where you say something on social media, they're going to come to your house. Luckily, while they get arrested over there, they just come and try to intimidate you. They suggest you're an extremist. Oh, by the way, any government official that swears an oath to defend the Constitution and then actively tries to go against it, they're oath breakers. Fun fact. Patriot movement, a general term sometimes used to describe the loose affiliation between the militia movement, some members of the sovereign citizen movement, and tax protesters. Participation in the movement is not itself sufficient basis for investigation. I wonder why. But hey, they'll definitely try to intimidate you. Patriot political prisoner. A term some NVEs use to describe subjects who they believe have been unjustly prosecuted and incarcerated for engaging in MVE activities. Peppering. prepping is now extremist terms. So all you homesteaders that are preparing, keeping yourselves good, y'all extremists, y'all. A term used to describe the stockpiling of supplies, often food, water, medical equipment, and weapons, in preparation for a major man-made or natural crisis. Again, Boy Scouts must be fucking extremists too. Be prepared. While this can include illegal explosives, hey look, they're trying to fucking gaslight people. Saying that they probably have illegal explosives and illegally modified weapons. What have they done with all the fucking gangs in Chicago with them switches on their Glocks? Nothing? Huh. I wonder why. Prepping is... Oh, here's a cool thing. They say prepping is generally legal and is not in itself an indicator of militia violent extremism. But, they might want to intimidate them anyway because, just in case. Quick Reaction Force. A term NVEs... I don't even think I've ever heard of that. A term NVEs sometimes adopt in order to describe their capability and willingness to respond to encounters or incidents between fellow MVEs and perceived adversaries such as law enforcement, often with the exception that they will engage in violence to protect each other. Remember, well, you probably don't remember, but remember hearing about before the American Revolution when the British attacked and killed, attacked future American citizens, and we defended ourselves? Huh. Extremists. Red flag. Red flag laws or extremist protection orders, things that violate the Constitution and due process, but saying that's extremism. Allows courts to issue orders temporarily confiscating firearms from individuals deemed at risk, but not given the chance to defend themselves via due process. But they don't want to mention that. Typically, the petition of law enforcement and family members, but sometimes other individuals, such as educators or health professionals, MVs regard such measures as unconstitutional, which they fucking are, because again, violates due process. And again, they will respond violently if they or their companions are red flagged. Here's another good one about preppers. Shit hits the fan. An acronym MVEs and others use often to use referring to the major military, economic, political, or social crisis that militia organizers anticipate and prepare for as justification for their existence. Man, if only we lived in a free country, you'd have to justify your existence. 3% and 3%er. Refers to militia movement based on the myth that only 3% of the Americans fought against the British during the American Revolutionary War. Adherents use the myth to pledge or justify their willingness to use force to resist restrictions on firearms or civil liberties against the present-day U.S. government and other government entities, which are viewed as akin to the British during the Revolution. Self-identification as a 3% or use of 3% symbol should not independently be considered evidence of militia affiliation or illegal activity. Gaslighting some more. Unorganized militia. A term used to describe the reserve militia, one of the two classes of the militia defined under the Militia Act of 1903. Yes, again, part of the Constitution is extremism, according to these extremists. Some of which MVEs use to justify their activity. The other class is the organized militia, which consists of the National Guard and the Naval Militia. But yeah, it's all here. I don't know if you can see that. Ooh. Yep. Again, I'll put a link down to this below. It's crazy. It's like perfect timing too. Elections coming up. What better use than trying to demonize the right, the opponents of the Democrats, just in time for the election. That's crazy. But it's not like the Democrats have ever used the FBI before. Oh wait, they did. Against political opponents again. So yeah, there you go. Just in time for the election, the government run by Democrats are going and gaslighting the right and the center, calling them extremists in order to justify probably intimidation and jail. Pretty fucked up, right? I think so. Anyway, that's all for this video. Please like, share, subscribe. Are you an extremist? For legal reasons, you probably don't want to answer that in the comments below. But hell, you can meme away there. Most memes aren't extremist behavior yet. And for legal reasons, I'm joking when I say Marvin Heemeyer did nothing wrong. Bye.